2, 1.
Survivor fans, welcome back to Game Changers, Season 34, Episode 10. A line drawn in concrete. On tonight's episode, Cerise struggles, Michaela's pissed, what's new, and a blindside. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Give us that hype. Give us that hype. Let's go.
Where's the hype? Oh, there it is.
Survivor fans, welcome back. I'm back. Hope you're not too mad. Paige is not here. Paige is back next week. We miss her. Give her a shout out on social media. Give us all a shout out on social media. My name is Mike Rippey. You can find me on social media at Mike Rips. And I'm joined for the first time by you guys.
Cream in the pimp.
Michael, I'm so glad to have you back.
Michael.
Timothy Michael. Hey everybody, it's Timothy Michael. Yes, power to the Michaels. You can reach me on all social media platforms at I am Timothy Mike. And to my left, my hype queen over here.
You guys, I missed you guys so much last week. Of course, you guys could have tweeted me at Domonique P_ESQ, but I'm back. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Really bad.
You guys, I had a Coke right before we started, and I shouldn't have sugar.
That might not have been the best.
Dom is bringing the fire tonight. It was a great episode.
You know who should be bringing the fire? You, Michael, because you've missed the last 3 episodes.
You guys have been,
Yes.
I just want to say, you guys have been bringing the fire towards me in the social media world, in the comments. Don't worry, I've seen it all. I've seen all of you, but I'm here.
Well, we missed you. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to be doing a show with you.
Well, I'm excited that we're both on the panel.
I'm excited to talk about Survivor.
All right, let's do it. We start tonight's episode,
Could
day
you let us
24.
give a little love,
No.
Dom? God.
Day 24. Don't forget, guys, if you are watching, please give us 5 stars, like us, comment, and all the fun stuff. But we start today, episode 10 of the season, with 11 contestants remaining. It's day 24, and Debbie is immediately talking a strong 6 alliance. And they're going to one by one pick off the remaining 5, which is great foreshadowing.
Thank you. I literally wrote that, and I talked about this. I don't know, Dom, maybe it was 2 episodes ago or last episode, but they always do this foreshadowing thing in the beginning of the episode where you kind of know who's gonna go home, because they always, like, she said the title of the episode. Like, how do you not think she's not gonna go home?
Exactly.
Oh, it's so frustrating. What do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting because I think you'd have to be a true fan to pick up on that. I think people who just like kind of casually watch, they might not really notice the foreshadowing. Because I'm being honest, when I first start watching Survivor, I don't think I picked up on it. But now after becoming like a super fan, I always notice it. And I always try to like hope that they're gonna like trick me. Never happens.
You can't get tricked.
I can't get tricked.
Come
You're
on.
right. You're right. I can't be
Come
tricked.
on,
I
Dom doesn't get
can't. I
tricked.
don't know what happened.
What about at the start? It looks like Andrea and Zeke are going to be versus each other.
First of all, you guys, I couldn't understand what exactly like their true beef is, besides the fact that Andrea like wasn't in the, or Zeke wasn't all the way in the loop. But it just, I was confused. So somebody help me understand why they're pissed off at each other.
Well, he went to the 2 ladies last episode and said that he thought that Andrea, wait, what was it? Oh gosh.
Right.
People in the chat,
Somebody
please
tell
fill
me
us
what
in.
happened.
What happened with Zeke again? He went back to somebody, I think it was Sarah, and then Sarah went back to Andrea and told her that Zeke was like, she can't be trusted, or something like that. And then Andrea was butthurt about it, and then that's the feud that started off between them 2. So somebody was butthurt, and now they're both butthurt. I don't know.
Right. But at the same time, Sarah talks to Zeke and would like to work with Zeke. So Zeke is kind of somewhere in the middle there.
But so was Sarah.
Right.
Sarah, but I
Yeah.
feel like since the very beginning of the game, Sarah's been kind of playing all the sides, which is not a bad thing. I think, you know, you have to have that level of like, I know what's going on in the hood, but I'm not in the hood.
Right.
Be educated.
Thank you, Sheena123 and Gemini9857. Zeke went to Sierra and said that he wanted Andrea out. And then Sierra went back to Andrea and told her. And then that's why she got butthurt with Zeke.
Thank you so much, Sheena. Sheena's the best.
And thank you to everybody in the live chat, especially the ones that throw in hate my way. I love you guys. Let's go to reward now. So on tonight's reward, they are playing for the option, well, not the option, but the ability to take a seaplane voyage to one of the prettiest islands and have a picnic in Fiji. But there's a catch. They're gonna
Always a
do
catch.
they're gonna do schoolyard picking with captains, and one person is not gonna get picked. And we just we throw it to Dom right now because Michaela is not picked. So Dom, talk to us.
Yeah. I wanted to shake Michaela because I feel like I've had several conversations between her, myself, and the TV trying to get her to cool her jets. Like, I want to be on Team Michaela so bad, but she makes it so hard. Like, girl, somebody had to not get picked. It was you. Stop acting like that because these people already don't like your butt.
Right.
So just to go through the picking of the people, first the captains were Culpepper and Suri, and Culpepper picked Debbie.
Suri should not be anybody's captain.
Debbie, Sierra, Andrea, and Aubrey, and Suri picked Zeke, Sarah, Troyzen, and Ty. Which I gotta say though, how did Michaela not get picked for a challenge like that?
Well, we knew Culpepper wasn't gonna pick her because he's irritated by her, doesn't understand why she eats so much when who knew eating was a problem.
So what's Suri's excuse?
And I think Suri just didn't want to seem too close to Michaela. I'm trying to put myself in her position, but I feel like as far as winning a challenge, you want Michaela to be playing in those group settings. She's kind of blowing me a little bit in the individual immunity thus far. I want her to kind of step it up in that respect, but she's really, really great in group challenges. And I think she would have shined given the opportunity. But if she doesn't figure out how to check that attitude, she needs to go sit in the jury box because I'm over it at this point. Like, I try. Y'all know I will stand for Michaela. I love her, but I can't deal with that attitude because it's not always warranted. Now, I agree. Now, when people are throwing shade at her and people are talking crazy, girl, do you. But when it's a game and stuff happens, I need you to humble yourself and just swallow it and play the game.
Yeah.
Come
And
on.
I completely agree with you. I think that because we were both sitting there like, why did Suri not pick Michaela when she had just really saved her in the last or two tribals ago? And the reason why is because the same thing that happened in tribal. She wrote her name down to look like she wasn't working with her or too close to her. So I think that was a good play. I mean, don't look too close and then get them from the outside.
I guess, but it almost feels like there was a little bit where you're kind of not giving your best shot to win the actual chance to go for the picnic.
Well, who would you have swapped though?
I think it would have fit right at the end if you took Michaela instead of Ty. Plus, you already had Sarah on the team, two guys, two girls. I don't know. I mean, I get it, but it's just kind of weird that Michaela doesn't get picked.
I mean, Ty did
It's
hold them up
weird.
with the
It's
balancing
weird.
beam, so maybe they
Speaking
could've-
of Ty struggling on the balance beam, I just want to say, because I was making notes. First, so Michaela's pissed. She makes it very known. And during this challenge, Ty is really struggling with the balance beam, which, did you guys find that interesting? And did you guys out there find that interesting?
I was trying. You guys know that I always think somebody be trying to throw a doggone competition because Ty seems to be probably the most limber person out there. Did y'all not forget his season when he climbed that tree?
Last episode in the reward in immunity, he was on the top, like climbed it and won like a monkey. So he obviously has great balance. I don't understand how he can't do the balance beam.
I don't know if those are balance though, or if they're endurance. Like if you're just, I don't know. I think it's more endurance where you're like sitting there with your feet dug in there.
But he had to get up. He had to get up the
I don't
tree.
know. Maybe he was just having an off day. I mean, it's possible.
So, but here's the funny part. So I initially wrote that Ty had balance beam struggles. Then I followed that up with Troyzen having struggles because he lost his shorts because he's lost so much weight.
Yeah.
So he's struggling to keep his shorts on.
Aren't those drawstring shorts?
I don't
They look like drawstring.
Maybe he
tighten that
drawstringed
doggone
them
drawstring
as
because
much
I
as
don't
they
want
could be
to see
strong.
that.
Then I wrote that Aubrey was struggling. Then Zeke was struggling, but they were not struggling. All of the
You know who
aforementioned
wasn't
people.
struggling? Sorry to cut you off. Debbie, the gymnast. Just want to throw that out there.
Debbie doesn't struggle.
Debbie is also a pilot.
So, but I wrote all these struggles.
She's
but
also a horse trainer.
she's everything.
She's also in the CIA.
She is. But I
She's
wrote
also at home.
legitimately that everybody was struggling, but nobody struggled as much as Suri.
Oh.
And so Suri was struggling so much so that they basically threw in, for the first time that I can remember, and tell us in the chat, they threw in background music that was really sad. Like,
Yeah.
It was so sad.
It was like the end of something.
An
was
era.
It really felt
The end of a
ominous.
season.
And so it was emotional. The whole team had to help her, but she did finish quite late, obviously, and so
Beyond late.
the team of Culpepper won the reward challenge. And that's not it though, because we saw the emotional moment with Suri. Michaela is so pissed, she doesn't understand or recognize that there was a secret advantage that she could have won.
We were kind of talking about this a little bit in the live chat before we went live, and a few people were like, you have to understand that from Sarah's vantage point, it was easier for her to peep it because she's looking at Michaela, because Jeff just said, and y'all will pick up Michaela on the way out. So she looks, as opposed to it being really tucked under the thing and where Michaela's sitting, you wouldn't necessarily go down. However, the camera got a good shot of when Michaela was tying up her shoes. Now, me personally, I don't know if it's just because I have long legs or what, but I probably would have missed it tying my shoes too. Like, it's a lot to get all the way down there.
I don't know. In all fairness, Michaela was sprawled out on that little bench area. Like, she was like watching them. She had one foot and she wasn't even sitting on the chair. She was sitting below the chair. Like, all she had to do was look back or something. Like, she was all over that platform making herself comfortable. So, I mean,
Michaela also was so caught up in being pissed.
Right.
That she was not thinking like the possibility of any perk to being not picked.
Right.
I just loved how Sarah was like, it's Survivor and you always have to be ready and looking. And I'm like,
But it's not even about Survivor. It's about Survivor game changers. Like, you know something's gonna be off somewhere. Something's gonna be different. So you should be aware at all times. I kind of agree with Sarah.
I disagreed.
I like it.
I mean, I would be on at all times.
So Sarah sees it. She gets the secret advantage, which ends up being that she can now steal a vote at Tribal. The latest that she has the ability to use this advantage is when there's 5 people left. So she has another 4 or 5 episodes to do that.
Yeah.
And she mentions that nobody ever uses these advantages correctly, but she's going to be the first one. So we'll have to pay attention to that one.
We'll see, girl.
We'll see, girl. Before we go along, I want to talk about the picnic for a second because they seem to have a lot of good food at their picnic. But I want to take a moment to ask you guys out there and you two on the panel, if you were going to find a picnic and let's say you're on Survivor, or even if it's not Survivor, but we're going to have a picnic, what's one item that you would want to be there?
Mac and cheese.
Okay, it's a great choice.
See, I don't know. It depends on what diet I'm on that week. I don't know.
One item.
Ain't no telling.
You got some item. What is it?
Cupcakes?
That's perfect. Good.
What would you do?
So we're getting mac and cheese, cupcakes, chicken cutlets.
Chicken cutlets?
Yeah, now we got a meal. Mac and cheese, chicken cutlets. I
Hey,
love chicken cutlets.
you're right.
Sadly enough, I know this is going to sound super
And we got it all
lame.
together. We got
But
side,
the only
main
thing
course,
that
dessert.
I would really, really want, super lame, you guys,
What?
is probably like some steamed kale. Like,
What?
Don't laugh at me, but like,
We're talking about a picnic,
I
Dom.
love
Don't be bringing
sauteed
steamed
kale.
kale. Don't be bringing steamed kale to the picnic.
I just wanted to be honest. That's why I said
All right.
cupcakes.
So
because I was
here's
like,
the
I'm
thing.
not
All
going to
right,
go for the
I'm
kale.
doing this Whole 30 program right now, and I'm on day 8 where I've cut out all processed foods, sugars, all this crap, so I
so
can
you're
eat very
picking-
little.
you're picnicking
So
it
I
down.
feel like I'm a Survivor right now. So when I say mac and cheese, you guys, I literally mean I need mac and cheese in my life, like right now.
I'm throwing this to the engineer, Josh. What are you picking?
Ooh.
He's picking.
You know what's funny? I would choose chicken tenders or chicken cutlets.
Yes, I knew it.
Yeah,
That's my
you
boy
guys
right
are
there.
so funny.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And he also told me no steamed kale. You ain't coming to the picnic with steamed kale. Let us know in the
I don't
chat
like
what
it
you
anymore.
let us
They
know what
said,
you guys
okay,
think.
so
I'm
Eric
running from
said
the
fried
picnic.
chicken. Gemini said no cheese, I'm gluten. Eric said pizza.
Yeah.
So you guys are like all over the place,
Good,
but I
good.
like it.
Good. Yeah, we like it. And let us know if you're watching later in the comments what you would bring to the picnic, because we might have one at one point. All right, well, let's get to immunity, where it wasn't really a challenge, this immunity. Like, it seemed like it was just one person that really did a good job, and they won, and that was Troyzen. What'd you guys think of immunity, this challenge, which was basically just having to balance, and that's it?
I mean, we've seen this challenge before.
Right,
Sure.
right.
And I feel like it's always difficult for a lot of people. And it's always down to like 2 or 3 people who are better at it than the others. I was surprised about Troyzen and Andrea, for that matter, because I wasn't expecting her to be so good at this challenge, because she really hasn't.
Well, y'all know for the last few weeks I've been like, who is that other blonde girl? So I'm just happy to finally know her name and for her to be doing something that requires me to remember it. So I'm happy that she actually is starting to be a game changer, that she is really contributing to, you know, the dynamics of the group. Now, her beasting it out, I was really surprised. I've also been surprised by, what's his name? The old man.
Troyzen.
Troyzen.
And
I do want them to find him some pants that fit though.
He's losing weight quick.
He should switch with somebody else that maybe has a little bit more room to grow. Maybe won't finish that.
You're shady, Troy's right now.
Troyson was hot tonight. He was impressive in that victory. The only people close were Culpepper and Aubrey, and they both dropped.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting to me because it was like they completely stopped once they realized that one of their 6 was going to win, which I always like want to say my own butt. So
Interesting enough how Debbie was cheering him on.
Yeah.
I thought that, I mean, it was like Domonique just touched on it. It's kind of annoying when, even though he's in your top 6, like you should never be that comfortable. But this only proves, well, we'll probably talk about it later at Tribal, how comfortable these 6 were unrealistically.
So comfortable.
It was interesting, but the funniest thing ever was Ty and him trying to figure out how he wanted to stack his blocks. And I'm like,
trying to figure out how to spell immunity.
Just start.
And then he actually, he did start, but he didn't bring a block. He started to run without the block.
That would have been me, you guys. I want to be honest. Like, I would have been like, how do you spell? I would have been writing it down in the sand. But then I was like, I said it out loud while we were watching the episode. I was like, just look at the other letters. That's what I would have done. I was just like, what letter is it? Okay, Y. Great. I'm taking Y. I don't care if you're spelling it wrong too. I mean, that's all I got. But then again, we have to think about it. It's 25 days. Like, you're running on like no food, so it's like your brain, you can't think.
Yeah, that's true. You could tell Ty's been an interesting guy.
At least he didn't have to spell metamorphosis.
So Troyson wins in pretty impressive fashion, to me at least, and they go back to Tribe, and of course, it seems like everyone's talking about Michaela is going to be the one. It seems like the consensus right there. But at this point...
Well, let's be clear. I mean, Brad has had his eyes on wanting Michaela out since the very beginning of the merge and when they were in their tribe, so...
That's true, but interestingly enough, it seems like that's true, but they keep postponing, like, her departure. Like, oh, let's take out one more person before we get rid of Michaela.
Well, do you think it's because, and like they said, they continuously say it in the interviews, like, oh, Michaela's annoying. Michaela has an attitude. Do you think they're postponing it because they want to take her to the top 3? Because people would be like, she's annoying and she's a bad attitude. Why would we give her $1 million?
It's very possible.
I mean, it's pretty smart.
It is possible. Well, at the same time, though, there's this Zeke Sarah thing now, because Sarah, even though she's in the majority, apparently is talking to Zeke about, maybe they can bring in Andrea, even though Andrea and Zeke have issues, and they could do something different.
Well, I wanted to touch up on Sarah before even the immunity challenge, because Sarah was talking to Sari about who she thought was in charge, and they were like Brad and Sierra, which she's right. I mean, them two are pretty tight. I don't want to say out of nowhere, but I never saw those two working together. It's like alpha male and alpha female, or whatever an alpha female is. Beta female? I don't know. But I thought that was a little... I mean, it's interesting that those two are just working so well together. And then Sarah said, timing is everything, and it's not time to make a big move right now. Yeah. So I felt like that was a little bit of foreshadowing to her making a move further on, and then we get into her talking to Zeke, and it just shows it even more. So I'm like, okay, well, Sarah is not comfortable in the top 6.
And at the same time, then Sierra talks to Sarah and Debbie and talks about how those were the final 3. And so Sarah's she's done a lot of different...
She really is.
Right.
She's getting around.
Yes. And she's been in the middle of she's been in the middle of another tribal at one point. Guys in the chat remind me of what it is. But she's been in the middle of a lot of chats recently, and I feel like that's just further building up her resume.
Who's irritating Drexel?
Michaela. We're in agreement that her attitude is really bothering us, and we also don't know what her strategy is at this point.
This is a sharp departure, Dom. I remember there was a point where
we were talking about this when we were sitting out there.
Yes.
Last season, if you guys have been with us for a while, you guys will remember that I really didn't feel like Michaela was given a fair shot last season. And I was like, well, maybe I was like blinded and didn't see like some of the attitudes that a lot of the 2 guys kept talking about. And so this season, I was like, okay, she's going to have time to like gather her thoughts. She's going to reflect. She's going to be a better person because she's a beast in these challenges. So I was excited to see like, someone really beast it. And then she just has this like really crazy attitude. That is really perplexing me. But I will say this. I really love Cirie and how she kind of pulled her aside and was basically like, girl, like I was there your age and just angry for no reason. You know, like I appreciated Cirie like being one of the only few people to really pull Michaela aside and be like, pull it together.
But clearly that didn't work.
But clearly it didn't work because I'm like 2 seconds later, there she goes, you know, throwing a temper tantrum that I cannot speak today.
What was she throwing?
Stuff about not being picked for this rewards challenge, and I was just like, you know, I get that. Let's all put ourselves in her shoes. When we were in high school or maybe elementary school, it sucks to not get picked when everybody else gets a chance to play.
But you're not in high school.
This is
you're not in
Survivor.
middle
This
school.
isn't
You
high
guys,
school or elementary school.
I'm just trying to,
She's
you know,
an
give her the
adult.
benefit of the
No,
doubt here.
no.
You're not
You
playing
know,
for $1 million in
she's
elementary
not,
school.
but she's not also the only person that hasn't been picked to play in a rewards challenge and been pissed.
I'm
so
sorry,
let's
but if
just be
she
real.
would have been a little bit more conscious, then she would, and not butthurt about not getting picked, she would have been more, you know, aware of her surroundings and so that she could have had a bigger opportunity right under her feet.
like
Just
it.
saying.
Like this.
All I'm saying is that I can recognize when I'm wrong, and I defended Michaela to the death. And all I'm saying is that if she's serious about wanting to win Survivor, she needs to get her attitude in check. Because I
Well-
don't really see how many more people are going to want to be around her if she doesn't pull it together.
Makes sense.
Boom.
And Michaela is still around because she's in the final 10. So let's get to Tribal, where we start off talking about hearing from Debbie tell us that it took all of 10 minutes for the power group to come to a unanimous decision.
Which I thought was really interesting because she was like, everyone here has this is a democracy. And I'm like, you guys, we watched you guys make a decision and Sarah wasn't even anywhere to be heard of. Nobody said, hey, we're missing one of the 6, because powerful 6, right?
Yeah, I mean and I'm a huge fan of Debbie's. I was actually really sad to see her go, and you guys know this at home that I'm a really big fan of Debbie's. But this entire episode, I was just cringing for her because I was like, you're just making yourself look worse and worse and worse. And she was like overly confident, overly cocky. And it's like the same way that you feel about Michaela and her anger issues is the same way that I feel about Debbie and her cockiness.
Was she overly cocky though? Like, I feel like that's just Debbie.
Really,
I just personally feel like Debbie has too many jobs to have been on Survivor anyways. Like, she's too busy for this and needs to get back to either, you know, piloting.
Did she fly
or being a gymnast?
She flew the plane
Did
to the
she flew-
picnic,
No,
right?
you know what she said? She was like, it's just so great to watch them because I fly all the time.
Yeah, she's the only person that
I'm
flies, I
like,
bet. They didn't take a flight
Girl.
over there to the Fiji
You're
Islands.
trying.
yeah, no, she didn't. I don't know. I like Debbie. I just wish that she had took Cochran's advice a little bit more, and she had at some points when she was like being respectful and just nice and just, oh, thank you for this and oh, blah, blah, blah. But then she starts getting her Debbie ways and acting drunk and doing all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, Debbie, stop. Why? You
I
self-sabotaging
think Debbie
yourself.
was trying to make herself seem a little bit more likable. I think she has ruffled a lot of feathers. And so she was like, well, if they think I'm like the fun girl, I won't be high on their targets right now. So I see where she was going, but playing drunk...
But then you
desperate.
can't go to Aubrey and speak to her the way that she did when they were like having that conversation before Tribal and was like, if
See,
you vote with us, you're
And
good.
What did I tell y'all?
Here's the thing.
If y'all think
Hold
Michaela's
on.
attitude is bad, if Debbie would have talked to me like that, it would have been a whole nother situation.
Yeah, but
Here's
at
the
least
thing,
Debbie's
guys.
low key about it.
You made a good point that I want to touch on because you talked about how Cochran helped Debbie a couple episodes ago, and she totally kind of wasted all that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that she could have done so much more with that opportunity. And she also, I guess she already used her advantage and didn't even need to.
Right. But one thing I will say is that she did take his advice as far as apologizing to Brad, which I did not think Debbie was going to do that.
But that's what I mean. Like, she does these like little things that are progressive, but then it's like one step forward, two steps back with her. It's like, I don't see why she can't just get it through her head and just know that this is where she messed up in last season and to just fix it. But the same thing goes with Michaela. Like, she knows last season her attitude was bad. Maybe this season she would have fixed it, but she's not.
Speaking of Michaela, at Tribal tonight, Michaela was feisty and had my favorite line where she said, "You're going to sit here looking like boo boo the fool."
Boo the fool.
Yes, but
So-
at the same time though, I'm like, Michaela wants to sit there and talk about, oh, you look like Boo Boo the Fool, but I'm gonna go out swinging. But I'm like,
she kinda sat there looking like Boo Boo the Fool
right? I'm like,
herself.
but Michaela, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted her to be like, Sarah's about to flip on y'all. Like, I wanted something to happen, but she didn't even say anything. So how could you sit there and say?
But we also have to know that had she have said that, Sarah would have gone with the flow.
No, I'm just saying, at least do something. She's like, I don't want to just sit here. I'm gonna go out swinging, but you didn't do anything. So how could you have gone out swinging? That's what I mean. Like,
one other comment that was made at Tribal was from Zeke, who said, you know, each time there's someone voted off, it's like almost like he's hoping for a deck reshuffle, and that's kind of what's going to happen here.
yeah.
Because Debbie gets voted out, Sarah flips, and now it really is kind of up in arms for what's going to happen.
I will say this about Sarah, though. Sarah is certainly building up her resume.
I'm liking her more and more.
And if she doesn't go back under the radar, because not only did she got out 2 people so far, and now she has this stealing of a vote, which could only add to her resume even further. But if she doesn't go back under the radar, they could start targeting her. So I'm a little worried about her now.
What I'm hoping for, and we've talked about this prior, Mike, in different seasons, is I hope she doesn't allow this stuff to go to her head and begin to go back and feel like she has big kahunas now, and it begin to kind of overshadow the work that she's already done. So I really hope she stays humble.
Yes.
And doesn't try to kind of go in and play the alpha female like Sierra is.
So, question
She's
for
the sheriff. She does that.
question for both of you guys out there too. At this point of the game, who's the MVP?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm gonna go with Sarah right now.
She's got to be up there. Sarah, for you?
I'm gonna go with Sierra.
Sierra.
Just
okay.
because I feel like she's, like I said, alpha female right now. So I'm going to go with that. But just speaking of Sarah, Sarah's a close runner-up, though. But, I mean, if Sarah was in Final 3 right now, like, she has everything going for her. It
also depends on who she's there with, but
not only could she be like, I'm good at this game, but she could also say, I'm a good person. Like, she's helped Suri.
Yes.
She's helped Zeke. Like, she came out of this when, you know, Zeke had that whole transgender thing come out, and she was like, I'm from a small town, like, but I still respect Zeke. Like, she has all this stuff going for her. Like, people at home and people probably on the jury would vote for her.
I have to agree.
Same.
I like her more and more as we progress in this game. I just want to see how she handles the backlash from flipping on her alliance. I think that'll be really telling how she moves forward, because you can almost tell that a lot of times she has to catch herself because her natural response to stuff is totally off. Like when Aubrey came to tell her that Debbie kind of threw her under the bus, her immediate reaction was anger.
Yeah.
She needs to coach Michaela, because instead of showing Aubrey how irked she was, she didn't allow it to get to that level. She kind of just took it at bay, like, okay, mental no, I can't trust Debbie. Let me go on my back channels to figure out how I get her out. That's how you play Survivor.
Boom. I would say right now my MVP is Culpepper. He's still rocking the Syracuse.
You know,
hat.
I don't like him.
Shout out to Syracuse. One more question before we do predictions. I asked you who the MVP would be, and thanks to everybody that's commenting in the chat and on the comments. Who's the least valuable player that's still left? Is it Suri?
No. I don't want to say it's Suri, but now that you mention it, it probably is. It probably is
for
Suri,
me, it's Suri.
I would probably have to go with Suri. Just looking at the docket of everybody that's left, Suri. She hasn't really done much.
What about you, Dom?
Except for talk to Michaela, which
do you
didn't even
think?
work anyway.
You thinking?
I have a hard time with Aubrey. Like, I feel like she has what it takes to be good at this game. But then sometimes I feel like she completely stops playing altogether, and I just never know where she goes.
But see, that's
like,
why...
is there a hole that she goes into?
But
I don't know. But then I remember in her season, she talked a little bit about having like anxiety issues. So I was like, I don't know if that comes into play. But is it just me, or does it seem like she kind of disappears for a half episode?
No,
I feel
like unlike Debbie and Michaela, she's learned from her season, because with her season she was so strategic, and
Aubrey
she was
we're
a super
talking about.
fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody was targeting her because she was a super fan and she knew everything about Survivor. so now I feel like in this season, she's like, I'm going to fly more under the radar. I'm going to wait until get to wherever I can get to, and then I'm going to strike. And I think that's what's happening with Aubrey.
I think that a lot of people are saying Michaela in the chat is the least valuable right now. I see it all, but I think that Aubrey's actually she's setting herself up to possibly win.
Aubrey?
I mean,
I wouldn't
I
be
could see it.
surprised. I
'Cause
mean, she's
she's-
flying under the radar. She hasn't had too many issues.
She seems like I remember from her season that she's smart and
Yeah.
Very
kinda
smart, very
adapt. She can adapt, and I think she's using that in this season pretty well so far. And it is pretty wide open this season.
I honestly,
Right?
I have to be honest right now. There are a lot of people that I feel like could win the
win.
game
Yeah.
if we stop tomorrow.
And they could be knocked out
Right,
next week.
right. It's literally still anybody's game.
Really is.
Anything can happen. We still haven't really seen how they're really going to flourish in individuals. So we'll see.
I love looking at the chat right now because we'll sit here and go, oh, we love Aubrey, and then somebody in the chat will go, I want Aubrey gone. Like,
Right?
You know,
It's so funny. And then just a little note, because you guys, I never do this, but the other day I was reading through some of the comments for the last few episodes, and a few asked me that I should not message you guys during live. I love talking to you guys as we go on, but if it's a concern for anyone else, always let us know. We just want to make sure that we are engaging with you guys as the show progresses. So
yeah, don't think
anybody
she's
else?
not paying attention.
No,
She
I'm always
is.
paying attention to both what they're talking about, what you guys are talking about, the camera. So
She's very multi-talented.
Super talented.
get with it,
Brought the
guys.
energy.
Get
All
with
right,
it.
let's do some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
God, we don't have epilepsy.
I hope we don't develop it. My mom always
Can you
told
develop
me.
it?
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, that'd be the worst.
My mother told me ladies first. So, Dom?
Prediction. I predict that Zeke may be a big target next week to go home.
That's interesting. See, I feel like since now that everything's changed with Sarah flipping, and we've obviously saw the preview was like a little taste of what's going to happen next week. Everybody's reshuffling, which I love because you should never play it in the numbers. It's game changers. Like, let's not. I feel like Sierra might be in trouble. Even though I think she is the MVP of this season, I feel like that's why. Because now they're going to target either her or Brad. They're either going to want to get the strong person out, which is Brad, the strong alpha male, because that's what they've been doing, or Sierra because she's been with Brad. So I don't know. I think that's one of my predictions on who's going home.
Oh, I like this. Jack from the live chat says Michaela or Sierra are next week. That's really interesting. I don't have Sierra in my mind as like going home just yet for some reason. She's killing it. But she's getting to that line of like being too cocky.
Sierra?
Yeah. Where she's like 2 seconds away from like pissing me off. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
but
I don't
she's
know.
not there yet. I think
Anytime
she's
somebody goes like this, I'm done.
I think
just
after her
can't.
conversation with Debbie in this episode, where she like sat her on the thing and was like, I could see us being in final 3, like Sarah, blah blah blah. I felt like she was genuine about that. And
I don't know. I did not think she was genuine.
I don't know. I felt like
Did you think
she was genuine about that.
Did you guys think? Do you guys think that Sierra was genuine when she told Sarah that they could be in the final 3 with Debbie? I felt like she was trying to pull Sarah in because she felt like she was a little on the ropes.
No, I disagree because in her one-on-one interview with the camera, she said, "I really like Sarah. Me and Sarah have been vibing really well together.
But
I want to
Debbie?
make sure." No, Sarah.
I know,
Her,
but I'm
Sarah.
like, out of
Sarah,
all
and
these
Debbie.
people, you
yeah,
said Debbie?
I'm surprised that she said Debbie too. I thought she was going to say Brad because they've been working so closely together. But maybe Sierra's not as tight to Brad as we think.
Well, so
Maybe
that tells
so.
you a little bit about the all-female alliance
Right.
that she was
That's
thinking of.
another
That's something
thing.
to watch.
And
for.
I've
Never
like
seen a good one. We'll see.
No, and I feel like Sierra is one of those people that's like, I'm really a feminist underneath us all, so I really want it to be all girls.
I think
I'm okay with that.
I think Sierra and Sarah are going to be a strong tag team
I think
moving
so,
forward.
too.
But I think the one person
Who?
that
Who in that
Sierra
group?
and Sarah.
Oh, would
I
love
think
to see if they could
those
really
two- I
work
think they're
together
gonna work
and drop
together.
Brad, because y'all know I don't like him.
I really
I'm
do.
into it.
I don't know if they're going to be able to use their power and sway, but I think that beach scene between them was really like true.
You
and
thought it was
honest.
genuine too?
I just think that they want to flip on each other, but like they can
Genuine
use each
my
other to get
ass.
to the end. That's all. I think that the person that's in the most trouble next week is Andrea. I think Zeke is strategic, and I think he's going to be gunning to try to get people against Andrea.
I don't know. I disagree with you because like we were talking about while we were watching the episode, it's like they'll be targeting one
know.
person
And
one
then it
episode,
totally
and then the next
flips.
episode it's
I
like
totally
That's
agree.
what
not
I
even on the
said because
radar.
I was
It's
like,
like,
last week they had a whole
true.
2 hours to get Michaela out. I was like, what? Did she just
they just
fall off the
forgot.
radar?
Right.
But I loved how Brad was like, not this week, but next week, you know? And then had maybe Michaela been like the bigger push, maybe she would have went home. Can we blame this on Brad?
But then at the same time,
We
I
can
can
blame
say
it
the
all
same
on
thing
Brad.
for Debbie and be like, at least Debbie was a team player in that aspect and wasn't like, no, Michaela needs to go home now. But instead she was like, okay, fine, you guys want Andrea, let's vote Andrea.
Well, we lost Debbie tonight.
I know,
Some of
don't
you are
remind
mad,
me.
some of you are happy. That's Survivor Game Changers, episode 10, A Line Drawn in Concrete. We say goodbye to Debbie. Who knows if we'll ever see her again.
hope
You
we
guys
don't.
will see us again next Wednesday, and Paige is back. Tell the people where they can find you.
You guys can find me on all social media platforms at DominiqueP_ESQ. Tweet me.
Tweet her. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. You can reach me on all social media platforms at I am Timothy Mike, especially on Twitter. Tweet me too.
That's right. Tweet her, tweet him, maybe tweet me. My name is Mike Ribby. Catch me on social media at Mike Ribs. Thanks to the engineer, the _ artist, Josh Rodriguez. We'll catch you guys next week.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Josh.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.